Hey everybody, you know what we're about today. We talking about postpartum depression part two, and you got a lot of good information on the first part. But now we're gonna talk continue and finish out about what solutions do you suggest. And well, let me back up a little bit. How does a person do a wife or a woman, because they don't have to be a wife,
Mm-hmm.
do they know they're going through it, or they don't know until after they've gotten over it? Because how do a person identify if they actually say, I have this, or you're just going through it? Because if not, then how can that wife, I mean, excuse me, how can a husband or a significant other help them? Or do the wife or mother recognize they have this problem?
At first, sometimes you don't, unless you have actually read about it.
Okay.
We now, back then, like I said, we're talking about 20 plus years now for me. They talked a little bit. I had the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. I
Okay.
want to
I remember
say
that book. Yeah.
she talked a little bit about that in the book, but not a lot. And they don't really delve into all of the um, the symptoms that go into it. Just like I'm saying with menopause, it's the same thing. They don't delve into it. You have to really do your own research.
Okay.
But now we're in a social media age that people are actually talking about this thing.
Gotcha. Not
There's a
deja
lot.
vu anymore.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not it's
Okay.
not taboo or
Well, taboo, yeah,
myths.
not deja vu,
Yeah,
taboo,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not taboos or
Right,
myths
right,
anymore, or somebody that they say now, they use the word gaslighting you, things like that about
right,
it, like,
right.
oh, it's just in your mind. And I remember somebody telling me, oh, it's just okay, it's just in your mind right now.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there like, no, I'm having some serious emotions here. I'm like, really, really. I'm like, I am all across the spectrum. I'm all over the place. I feel like my emotions was just everywhere, and I was trying to. And then you talking about you got to talk about the weight gain, the up and down of the weight gain. You lose the weight, then you gain it back, and then you're eating this, and then the emotional eating, because you're eating your feelings now. You're eating
Okay.
because you're upset, and I'm like, what do I do? And then you want to go back to work, but then you feel guilty. If I go back to work, then who's going to watch my babies? And then you have all of this flood of emotions because you feel as a mom, that term mama bear, I have got to protect these kids at all costs. Can't let anything happen to them. Can't this, that, and the other.
Right.
So all of these things come into play there. So you really just have to, if you're feeling out of sorts and you're not feeling yourself, talk to somebody. Do your research and talk to, they have a lot of healthcare professionals now, our PCPs, our doctors, your OBGYN, they're more knowledgeable now about it. And I'm going to tell you, if you get one that's gaslighting you, then find you a new one. Because
Okay.
if you're dealing with it and it's real, chime in here, put in the comments. However, and we can get, because there are women out here who will support you in that.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it is real. It is real. We go through this, and people need to know you're not alone.
You're not alone. That's right. So then, in essence, to get ready to wrap this up, communication is important.
Very much
If you
so.
feel like you feel yourself a little off, or let's just say for you mothers out there that feel overwhelmed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we admonish you to talk to someone you trust. Don't just talk to anybody, because, like she said, anybody can give you bad information and make the situation worse.
Absolutely.
Because it's not about relatives or close friends. You need somebody you can trust and talk to, and you may just need somebody that just can listen,
Mm-hmm.
to listen to you, air it out. And it does not make, let me say this also, it does not make you a bad mom because you're tired. Too often in today's time, people they feel like they don't have a right to be tired. But in actuality, you change. I was thinking about this earlier today. You cannot parent the same with one child with three children. There's no way to do that, because you have to adjust. You're not the same parent. You seem like the same parent, but you have an added child. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, your parenting has to adjust to the extra, because you went from one bag to two bags. You went from one children to two children to three children, then you have to make those adjustments. You can't still think like you got one child.
Exactly.
There's no way. Mm-hmm. So then you get tired. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. Now on the flip side of that, you got to be able to receive help.
Yes.
You can't be the one man band. And she said she wanted to be the mama bear, but then what that does is it wears you out fast. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to trust somebody to allow you to get a break. Because again, if your spouse is working or whatever the case may be, he may be trying to help the best he can, but it may be better that somebody that been through what you've been through can maybe calm the storm a little bit faster than your spouse, because your spouse only can give empathy. He doesn't have sympathy. I mean, he just doesn't have it. He's not designed to, he can't feel what you feel or understand what you're dealing with. He's just trying to help as best he can. So again, communication, everybody, we really want to stress that. Talk to somebody. Yeah. Don't allow yourself don't be on an island by yourself and think you can handle it, and you really can't. And there's nothing wrong with not being able to handle it.
I will say this. I was grateful because my husband, he was working at the sheriff department, and I would have had the kids all day, and we had structured time. I would do like teaching them at home and things and preparing them, for school and things. But my husband would come home and I don't know if he remembers, but he would come home some days, he would change his clothes and get out of his clothes, and he would say, I got him. And the floor became their playground, and so I would put pillows and box them in, especially because the two younger ones were so little. Right. And he would come home, change his clothes out, and he'd say, go, because sometimes you just need to take a bath. You want to take a shower, without some little person sitting in the bathroom with you while you're taking your shower, and so he would come in and give me a moment to just to, and he may not realize how much I appreciated it then, but I really appreciated those days because I know, he was the sheriff deputy at the time, so I know that it was not easy, with what he was battling, but he took the time out to be with his kids. He was a very, very present dad, through everything. And now, I will say the disclaimer in that a present dad who I never had they were clean and they were fed. Now, my house was a wreck.
Well, we're discussing on task here. So
it's just a little humor in it. Yeah. But he would still, they were fed, they were clean and things like that. But he did what he could do. He really did, and he did an amazing job with it. So I just admonish you dads and kudos to you if you're coming home and you're doing that for your wives, keep it going. You're doing a good job.
Because again, you just said they may not know you're going through something, but if they take the load off, they may give you a chance to relieve some of the stress without even knowing they're helping, but that little bit of time may give you time to let your mind, because what happens to your mind begins to race. Yeah. And as it begins to race, you start entertaining all those thoughts, but you get a moment to yourself to pray, to just exhale, to take a moment to not be just to yourself. That may give you the opportunity, because again, men, you may just don't know. It's not your fault you don't know. You just think maybe she's just having highs and lows, or maybe she's just overwhelmed with the multiple kids, or just one. One child could be a handful, one child could be a handful, and it could wear you down, And again, I admonish you. I can't say this enough. Just allow people to help, to give you a moment. Yeah, that's to give you a moment. So that's about it for us on this subject today, and we appreciate my wife coming to be a part of it, because as y'all see, I do it myself, but she really knew the ins and outs, the ebbs and flows of it, and I hope she reached to you to let you know you're not alone, that no matter what it looks like or feels like or seems like, you're not alone. There are women that's been there, and they're not saying they're not this generation. We've had generations before that said, oh, it's nothing, just get over it. she's not that way, and her
No.
generation is not that way. So we're trying to break that of it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's a painful situation. Here, real quick, the Cleveland Clinic said this: pay attention to how you feel after giving birth and let your healthcare provider know if something feels off. Just because you gave birth doesn't mean your care ends or that your health isn't important. You should try prioritizing resting and taking care of your health in addition to caring for your baby. Same thing she said. I just wanted to give you actual factual too, that she didn't just make this up off the top of her head. These are statistics from a clinic, from the Cleveland Clinic, that's saying the same thing she just said, that you gotta take care of yourself. You got to. Because if you don't, who will?
Absolutely.
And it's a disservice to the kids and to your significant other, your husband. That's it for me. You got anything else you want to say?
Just really quick, the sign for me was that something was off. Was our youngest son. He must have been maybe 5 or 6 months old, and we were preparing to get ready to actually go pick their dad up from work. And I'm looking, had him in one hand, baby bag. The baby bag consisted of his sister's stuff on one side, his stuff on the other. Baby bag on the shoulder, baby, sister, big brother. I'm looking for my keys, and I'm looking all around, have the baby in my hand, looking for the keys. The baby had the keys. The baby
Wow.
had the keys. I could hear the keys jingling. The baby had the keys, and I'm looking everywhere holding the baby. Every time I turned, they were in his hand. So I'm like, yeah, I'm overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Excellent point. So we're going to close on that. Till next time, be blessed.
Take care.